All right, so this is Prairie in Prairie Views is what we're doing today. I was almost going to say Prairie Engineers, but this is Prairie Views, and today my guest on Prairie Views is Eric Roach. And Eric, just take a couple seconds and tell us what you do for Prairie Engineers.
Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about myself too. So,
Yeah,
uh, like you said, I'm Eric Roach. I've been married to my beautiful wife, Amy, for about 25 years. I got two kids, a son, Ian, he's 23 this year, and daughter, Emma, which is going to be 17 this year. I grew up in Litchfield, Illinois, with both my mom and dad and four brothers, and graduated from Litchfield High School in 1996. So that dates me a little.
yeah, you are
Um,
aging yourself a little
yes,
bit.
a little bit. From there, about 2 weeks after I graduated, I went to ITT and got my associates in a computer-aided drafting technology. That was in 1997. I got that. And about a week after that, I started my first job at Shutt Manufacturing, which was designing sporting equipment. Did a little bit of design, R&D, and testing of the
Hmm.
equipment there.
So what kind of
Um,
equipment was that?
so we did face masks, throwbacks, basketball rims, backboards, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
I actually got to do custom face masks for football players that got injured too, so they'd get a broken jaw and want a special face mask made with extra wiring to kind of protect
right.
their jaw area. So it was kind of a neat little job for a while.
Yeah. So,
From
so
there,
when'd you come to Prairie? Yeah,
from there I went to McDonough Whitlow in
right.
2001, and I worked there for 17 years. Um, I did everything from survey, drafting, MEP design, plat preparations, roadway, the IT. I did all their website design, um, installing programming and customizing it. Um, and I actually had left about, I'm guessing around 6 months before Prairie acquired McDonough Whitlow. So I kind of
Wow.
missed out on that.
Yeah,
Um, So from there, I had left and went into Allscripts, which was a healthcare. I took a healthcare technical support consultant and consulted high touch clients, troubleshooting their their systems. And then I started back at Prairie in 2021. So happy to be back for sure.
yeah.
Um, and kind of my roles here right now is I work mainly MEP and IT. I'm doing basically design, writing specs, QA, QC, construction observation, estimating, construction management for
And we were
mechanical,
talking,
electrical.
yeah, before we came online, we were talking a little bit about the variety and how much you like that variety in your work.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. It makes the day go by faster when you're busy and when you're wearing several hats,
right.
it makes the day fly by.
Well, since
Um,
since either McDonough Whitlow or even Prairie, like what's one of the more interesting places that you've either been in surveying or engineered?
so probably more the more interesting places, or probably my favorite places anyway, are the military facilities. It's pretty fascinating to see the different levels of security you have to go through, and you know, it 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 really makes you learn. You can't always use you can't always use cameras. You can't always take an iPad in there and scratch up. You have to take a pad and paper,
Hmm.
and then a pencil, and you have to sit there and think about the design and how it's going to go, what needs taken out, and then you have to put that all on paper. So that's I think that's probably the best thing to do, at least starting out anyway, is learning how to put it on pad,
Yeah.
write it on a pad of paper. And I think the younger generation would learn best by doing that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah, it's like doing it that way, you, it really makes you think through what's where, what needs to go where
Correct.
the conflict points are, and not just think through it, but think through it to a level that you can sketch it or explain it, you know.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
does require a different level of thinking and problem solving for sure.
Yeah.
So if there was maybe an industry innovation that you wish you could implement like today, what's an innovation you'd love to see?
So I know this isn't just for me. This would probably go for everybody watching this. So I would implement, for one, all Department of Transportations throughout the US, for one, to use the same program in the same configuration in the same version of the program for all the CAD platforms. Because right
Yeah,
now it is a mess.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
right
each
now,
DOT is different, isn't it?
oh
Every
yeah,
single DOT
and
is different.
yeah, like IDOT, right now we have three different configurations for IDOT, three different versions of the program, and it depends on what job you're working on, how the contract was wrote. Even though, they state, hey, use the newest version, that's not always the case.
Right. Maybe the newest to them, but it's
Correct.
not the actual newest, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Well, if any innovators are listening, think about ways that you could maybe incorporate all those different versions and programs into one and satisfy all those different clients. You'd make a lot of money.
Yep. It wouldn't be that hard because they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah. So if you could work on a project anywhere in the world, where would you love to work on a project, and what might that project be?
Mm, I think New Zealand, and I think it would be surveying because it would be nice just to walk through the mountains. And I mean, New Zealand's just, it's a beautiful place.
Right.
And I wouldn't mind doing while I'm out there, do a hunting trip for, red stag or something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So,
Yeah, kind of fit that in on the weekend or something, right?
yeah, exactly.
Between work days.
Yep,
Yeah, New Zealand's on my short bucket list of places to go, but I know it's pretty expensive because it's literally halfway around the world. So
exactly.
yeah, but if you could get a project there, well, now the company's paying for you to get there. So
Exactly.
best of both worlds.
Yep.
Um, so what's something that you do in your work that your friends and family don't quite understand about your job?
So I think the biggest thing in this field is probably, though it's not maybe so much a grueling physical job, um, it can be very mentally draining on you. And
Mm,
and and I do a lot of work around my house on the weekends and everything. And I'll tell you what, mental draining is far more tiring than a physical drain sometimes.
well, yeah, I can see why that would be. It's amazing too. It's like all I've done is sit around and think or problem solve all day, but then you get home and you're like, man, I'm tired. Like I don't want to think hard
Right,
anymore.
right.
Yeah, I get it. So this is a really fun question. What's the most like MacGyver thing you've ever had to do on a project?
Okay. Well, I think that one's pretty easy. So it's been probably back in around 2005 and somewhere around in that area. I did a survey down in Brown County, and that's right by the river where we were. It was about a 6 mile track, square mile track. And we were finding property corners and locating section corners. And we were doing it all on ATV. And the crew member that was with me had to go to town to use the restroom because, of course, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, there's nowhere to go. And it's about a 30-minute drive into town. So I went ahead and started going down the fields, and we had had a lot of rain that year, and the the creek or the river had breached the bank and was up in the fields and stuff, and it wasn't real deep, but um, I was riding along the field to go to a section corner, and all of a sudden my four-wheeler just drops. The whole front end just drops into the water, and I had hit a field ditch. So I tried pulling it out by hand, and that's not going to happen with a 600 or 700 pound machine. So um, I ended up uh, basically getting off. I'd got drenched too on top of it, and it was like 25 degrees out, so
Oh,
it wasn't warm. And I got off and got the survey tape out, put the four wheeler in reverse, and taped up the acceleration on it so that it was moving. Got a small piece of rope and got behind it and started pulling till it came out. And then, I dodged it and jumped on it. So it was safe.
say fish,
Yeah,
maybe.
safe-ish.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got it out, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
that's the
worked the
MacGyver
rest of
thing
the
to
day
do.
with
You
wet
got it
feet.
out, and you had to do it by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I knew it
Yeah.
was going to be, close to another 45 minutes before he even got back. So
Yeah.
I went ahead and went on.
Yeah. Just had to keep going. That's a good one. I well, I worked on survey crews as a teenager, and I remember I got one of our Ford Rangers stuck on a job one time and had to pay for a tow truck to come and pull it out and get it unstuck. And yep, that wasn't any fun because I didn't make a
Yeah.
whole lot of money as a teenager on a survey crew, so paying for
Yeah.
that was a hard lesson.
I bet.
Um, so what advice would you give to somebody who might be thinking about coming to work for Prairie Engineers?
I would say if you're considering a career here, my advice would be embrace the opportunity to work like in a collaborative, multidisciplinary environment where initiative and innovation are highly valued for one. And take the time to understand the company's mission and projects. Be adaptable, able to communicate well, and eager to learn will definitely serve you well.
Yeah.
Um, and it's overall, if you're passionate about engineering and with a purpose, and you can make an impact.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I would agree with all those points. No doubt. Um, what's a project that you can think of that you're just really proud of, and why that project?
So I'm going to go back to military um, military affairs. Any kind of military project. Um, you know, they've kind of allowed me to contribute, improving the quality and the safety and functionality of a facility that directly supports the men and women that serve our country. That's kind of fulfilling to be able to you know your work impacts their daily lives at a facility and makes things better for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that does give it puts a whole different sense of purpose in what you're doing in that facility to
Oh,
serve those folks, no
yeah,
doubt.
definitely.
Well, we're getting pretty close to the end of our 15 minutes, but I would like to ask you one more question.
Sure.
If you could have a conversation with the
Yeah.
inventor of any tool or technology that you use on a regular basis, what would you ask that person?
It would be the inventor of the flatbed screw and screwdriver. And my question is why? It's the most annoying screw ever invented.
Yeah. Why the flathead, right?
Right.
When there's Phillips head available. I'm
Yes.
sure there's an answer out there, and you may have to go like to Chat GPT or something and figure it out. But
I'm
I'm with
sure
you.
there is.
I don't know what that answer would be. Well, Eric's been really good, and thanks so much for being willing to spend a few minutes
Yeah, no problem.
talking to everybody and letting us know about your work and about your experience at Prairie. And so this Prairie Views, where all the engineers are strong, all the surveyors are good looking, and all the scientists are above average. Appreciate you being here, Eric. We'll talk
Yep.
to you soon.
Thank you.